morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. It is Monday, August 5th, 2024. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and this is Project Joy Live. It is your triple shot of good vibes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the 9 a.m. Eastern Time hour. We're supposed to have a guest today. She's not here, so we're gonna send some good vibes, and we'll see. Hopefully she's okay, but we're just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna bring you some joy this morning regardless. So let's talk about it now in the morning brew. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta roll with it. I'm excited we're in August, you guys. It's even though I feel like time just goes so fast, so fast. And so I don't know. It feels like it was yesterday that I was saying, oh, we have it's months from now that we have tickets to see New Kids on the Block, and then finally it came, which was Saturday, which I'm going to tell you about that coming up here shortly. I see our guest behind the scenes, so we will be having Miss Trista Polo on the show today to talk about self care, which I'm excited about because we all need a little bit of that. And I think we'll start things off today with just taking a moment to just celebrate today. Let's do it. All right. So I mentioned that Saturday was the big day. Finally, after, or not Saturday, Friday, excuse me. See, I'm exhausted still. Um, Friday was the big day. I got to see New Kids on the Block, Paula Abdul, DJ Jazzy Jeff. Was an amazing show. So much fun, so incredible. And 33 years in the making. Like I wanted to go to a New Kids show so bad when I was growing up, and I never got to go. And so this was like my first time, and going to see them, and it was really, really just it was so fun, so fun. Really quite the throwback. And Paula Abdul, like, can we just talk about her for a minute? 62 years old, and there was this whole moment where she's doing all this dancing because that's what she does. She's a dancer, right? So she's doing all this dancing, and after the song's over, she has somebody come out and bring her water, and then somebody else come out and bring her oxygen. And it was like it was meant to be something funny, but also at the same time, I would totally need oxygen between all of that dancing. Okay. Like, it's good for you anyway. Those of you that are singers and things, how much, sometimes the oxygen really helps, but it was really a funny moment. And she's like, what did you guys think 62 was like? And it was just a really funny moment. And so the show was great. We had a really good time. And like I said, quite the throwback. And it also going to a big, amphitheater or stadium, or any big concerts like that, it really hits you how old you are at some point, because I'm looking around and I'm like, can't we just petition to do this in our pajamas on couches or something next time? Can we just do this? Because it's a lot. Yes, the energy is amazing, but I was exhausted, and you got the traffic and lines for everything. And so I'm like, next time we do this in our pajamas, okay? Like that would be so much more fun. So all of that being said, it was a really good time. Got me a t-shirt, got a cute little bag, says Magic Summer Tour. And oh, best moment was that, so we had seats on the end. We were not super close to the stage. We were back a little bit. I was hoping that meant I could sit my butt down for some of the show, but I was mistaken. So but we're on an aisle, and there's a part where New Kids come out to, like, our neck of the woods, in the amphitheater. They set up in the middle, and we had gotten word that one of them was going to come down our aisle. Well, I got trampled, friends, okay, because I was on the end, and everybody like swarms when people come. And so can we not do that too while we're talking about all of this? But anyway, walked right next to me, Danny Wood, followed by Joey McIntyre. And so basically, it made my whole life that they just walked right by my chair and like, "Hey, how are you?" Got to say hi real quick for a second. I have some video with both of them when they walked by. Some of you guys might have seen. I haven't posted those two yet, but they're coming. I've been posting little clips because I took so much video. So little clips on my Facebook story. So go check that out. But overall, it was a great, wonderful time. It put me in a place of reflection, of course. I mean, anytime we get nostalgic like that, it really does. But here we are. Miss Brittany's out there in the front row today. Miss Teresa, good morning. Good to see you. Miss Nancy, hello. I know we are 5 days in August, and I feel like June was yesterday. I really feel like a speeding up of life, and I'm not really sure I'm a fan, if I'm being honest with you. Yes, it was a blast. It was, yep, standing for the whole show. It's not my thing. Look, sit down, people. Okay, just because here's the other thing. I'm really, really short. I'm basically a gnome. And so the guy in front of me was super tall. So even though I was the next step above him, I still couldn't see over his big head. Please sit down, friends. Please. I'm just going to, the short people, the old people, we need you to sit down. Okay, that's what we need to do. All that being said, I'm really excited because it's important that we take care of ourselves. And we're going to talk about that with my dear friend, the queen of self-love is back here today. Everybody put your hands together for Trista Polo. Good morning.
I always jam out to that intro music. Good morning.
I know. I'm always dancing behind the scenes. And there's been a couple times when I've just totally forgot that I was on the show.
Like, oh, right. We're doing something here.
I'm over here and like, oh, hi, how are you?
Good how do you think people who are doing live concerts feel when they're waiting backstage and they're jamming out to the people who are on stage before them? And then it's their turn. They hear their name like, oh, that's right. That's me. I'm supposed to be going out right now.
That would be me. I would be fangirling so hard backstage that I would totally like forget that I was there to perform too.
Absolutely. I want somebody to follow me around with oxygen. How do I make that happen?
Can please?
Right.
Because and it was
very into that.
It was such a great moment because it was like because she's doing all of the things, but you know, you get older, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think celebrities feel like they have to exude timeless youth.
Yeah.
And there are certain celebrities that just own it. Like I know Julia Roberts is kind of about that.
Yeah.
And, Justine Bateman doesn't have a celebrity as her brother, but she still is all about like I feel like she's doing anti-aging to make a point. I don't think she should look as aged as she does. I feel like she sits in the sun with nothing on.
Yeah.
Washes her face just to prove a point. But I think it's a point that needs to be made.
Yeah.
Because I think that timeless youthfulness is way too important.
Yeah. You know what I really appreciated so you know sometimes we'll say like oh you haven't changed a bit or they haven't changed a bit, right? They really have. Like I mean if we look close enough we could see some frown lines there, some you know crow's feet, all that, you know. But I think I don't know. I think it's kind of an honor to be like, you know, you look wiser. You look more like you've lived for a minute. You might know something now, maybe.
I know, but if somebody said that to me, I'd be so offended.
I know. But where do we draw the line? What could someone say? Could someone say anything, Trista, that would make you go like, you know, makes you feel maybe a feeling of accomplishment?
Yeah. Well, here's one thing I was told a long time ago. I reconnected with somebody from college, and we're still very, very good friends now. And what she said to me in our first like get back together after 20 years, cup of coffee and slice of pizza is you earned every wrinkle, every pound, every stretch mark, every
Mm.
scar. So take anything that you look different physically than you used to as a badge of honor, because that's something that you experienced, you went through, and
Yeah.
you survived. And I don't think that it's not she was saying it to me, she was saying it about herself, but I took it for myself. If she had said to me, wow, I can tell from all of your extra pounds, you've really seen life, I think I would have been offended. But hearing it about herself and being able to take it on, I was like, oh yeah, I can own that. And that has actually made a big difference for me.
Yeah.
Anytime I feel like I'm starting to look too old, or wow, when you hit those 10-year marks, it's like your body ages the 10 years in a week. Did
Yeah.
you notice that
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
Mhm.
So, especially post 50, where I am now. Lots of
Yeah,
wisdom.
I'm
Lots of
inching
wisdom.
I'm inching closer to that as my
Come on in, the water's fine.
husband's gonna be the big 50 next year. So
Yeah.
yeah, he gets there first. He could go ahead and
Good.
he could
Just
go
let
ahead
him.
and take that honor.
No rush.
So we want to talk about self-care
Yeah.
today a little bit, because we know that if we have love for ourselves, or one of the ways we can show love for ourselves is to have self-care as well.
Yeah.
And it looks so different for everybody. But so where do you want to go with this conversation today?
So there's two places. The first place
Yeah.
is what we've been doing since we started this series is referencing a chapter
Mm.
from my book, Self-Love Shenanigans. And I have to admit, there's not a lot about self-care in there. It's mentioned
Mm.
in chapter 5, but I'm embarrassed to say that I overlooked it having its own chapter. And I think it definitely deserves its own chapter. So I just want
Mm.
to be like fully transparent, take responsibility for that right now. I was embarrassed when I
Yeah.
read that, because the reason I wanted to talk about self-care this time is because of some self-care that I denied myself and also really needed to put in
Yeah.
recent trip. So, I had my accident, but I also have had some opportunities to travel, and I've done a lot of stuff to ensure the travel went well, considering my injuries, etc. And one of the things that happened after my first travel was I needed about 2 weeks to recover.
Mm.
Mental and physical exhaustion was at such a level I have never experienced in my life. And a Reiki master friend of mine said, what if you just budget that in? What if you just budget in that you're
Right.
going to be exhausted after?
Mhm.
And so I did that. I did another trip, and I did that this time, and it made such a huge difference. I came home and I slept day and night. You know how if you sleep all day, you're not tired at night? I slept all day and all night for a solid 4 days.
Mm.
I told everybody I wasn't home until 4 days or 5 days after.
Yeah.
Because I budgeted in the time, and it made such a difference. I didn't make myself feel bad about it. I didn't feel guilty that I wasn't working. I didn't feel like I was weak or like I should be able to do better, because I budgeted in. And I think that that's one of the lessons that I think is so important, is budget in your self-care. Because I feel like we squeeze it in like, oh, I'm going to make time for next.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be budgeted in, just like sleep, meals, therapy, if that's your thing, taking care of your kids,
Right.
going to work. I think it needs to have that level of importance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the timing of this couldn't be more perfect
Of
right now,
course.
because literally was just talking about I was geeking out this morning with Teresa and Brittany, what's up girls, earlier this morning, and I get some kind of way. I get the heart pitter patters for a good calendar and a good spreadsheet. Like,
Mhm.
I just makes me feel some kind of way. And the reason why is because they are such good tools. I was not a born organized person. I don't feel like I really, until very recent years, learned to budget self-care time for myself. And so I love my calendar and my spreadsheets and whatnot, because they help me to do those things that don't come naturally to me. And so anyway, my point in all that is that I also love the budgeting idea, 100%. And also, I do that with my client calls too. I cannot tell you how much I cringe when someone gives me their calendar, and it literally, some days will show open spaces from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Mhm.
And I'm like, really? Are you taking clients all day? Like
Yeah.
calls
Yeah.
all day long? It makes me cringe. And because so I have like very specific time blocks laid out in my calendar where I will do calls. And
Yep.
then after that, it's that budgeted time that you're talking about where I know I'm going to be exhausted after 2 calls. So after 2 calls, that's it.
Absolutely. And where I learned that lesson was I did not set it. And then I had a bunch of calls because people said, "Oh, she's available." And they don't see the rest of your calendar. They
Yeah.
only see what's free. And next thing I knew, I was thinking, who did this to me?
Yeah.
Who did this to me? It was me.
Yep. Yep. Nancy was saying, then you don't feel guilty or less than for needing to recoup time after the fun because I'm older. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. So part of the need for self-care came from, I normally, when there's a big event in the world, I'm at home hearing about it on my couch. Like I see it on Twitter or I see it in the news or a friend post. I don't really watch the news actually. A friend posts about it on Facebook or my husband tells me about it because he's really into the news. I was in the middle of the like eye of the storm of that CrowdStrike. What was that company called that gave us a Y2K?
Oh God, I can't remember, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so if you're not familiar, I'm sure most people are. I don't know if it was as popularly promoted or talked about in the international world, but this one company did this little teeny update on their software, didn't check the software update before they did it. They just put it out and it broke Microsoft Windows for millions of computers, maybe hundreds of millions of computers.
Yeah.
And the biggest effect it had was on Delta Airlines. And the biggest place it was affected was Atlanta. And the biggest weekend it was affected was when I was in the Atlanta airport for Delta Airlines on a connecting flight. I was coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Seattle with a connection in Atlanta. Apparently, it's the only way that you can get from one of those places to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no sleep for 36 hours. I was in line for 4 hours. I knew people that were in line for much longer, like double that. There were people trying to get to cruises. I kept hearing people say, but I have a cruise. If I don't get there, I lose all my money. And the wonderful people at Delta never lost their cool. There were people in line like, "Oh yeah, you want to take this outside?" I'm like, this is not a TV show. This is real life and people are taking it outside right next to me. And the Delta person was like, "Put that away or I'm going to take you out of the line." And I was so impressed with their professionalism and their keep cooledness. I'm like, who taught them to keep cool?
Yeah,
These
right.
customer service people. I was very impressed. But
yeah,
the software did us all dirty. We were all sleeping in the airport. We were all having a very rough time. And I missed sleep for 36 hours. Luckily, I had a couple days when I got to Seattle before I had to do the thing I was there to do.
Right.
But it added to my need for self-care for sure.
Yeah.
Because not only did I have to find time for self-care when I got home, I had to do it in the trip. So I had to make sure I got sleep, that I got good, healthy food. I've been doing this cool thing. This is another self-care thing I've been doing. I ask my body what it wants to eat, and I only eat what it says yes to. You seem like the kind of person that already does something like this. Actually.
Yeah. I'm trying to listen to the actual voice and not the voice that of the, complete
it wants the donuts.
Yeah, the one that lives in a house made of cake. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, actually, I try to silence her a little bit.
Yeah, actually, it is hard to discern those two. But I have this thing I've learned to do with my body. I don't know if I've ever shared it here, where it's like kinesiology. It's like muscle testing, but my body does it for me. So I yawn if it's a yes, and I gag. I'm thinking no, and I'm getting a gag. I gag if it's a no. And so I actually I went through the menu or the breakfast buffet at the hotel, and I said to my body before I asked, so I'd have that higher self making the choices. I said, please help me choose everything that's the highest and best for my body, mind, and spirit. to help me get through the day and be the biggest contribution in the world. And then I would just ask, and it's amazing. Like I got yes on pancakes one day in the whole trip, but it was a no for the rest of the trip. So I was like, okay, so I can have, like it's teaching me that it doesn't just have to be fruit and chicken. It can be a myriad of things, but it did go more toward protein. I hate eggs. It chose eggs every day, etc. So that's been a fun self-care journey that I just started over the last couple of weeks, and it's been working wonderfully.
Yeah, I love that. It's a good idea to check in. I think, even if we're on like something strict or whatever, for whatever reason, I think it's still good to check in and see how your body responds to different things as well. And doing, I've talked about it before, doing the Julia Roberts moment too. If you've had the same thing every day since as long as you can remember, and you don't know even how you got there, sit down with all, you're like, every time I always get, rye toast. Always have rye toast. Sit down and have one of every different kind of bread and decide, is it really rye that I want, or do I actually really enjoy something else? Because that can bring a lot more joy to your self-care experience too, because you're actually having something you want as opposed to something you've just always had.
For sure. Now, what's funny is Pretty Woman is my favorite of Julia Roberts movies. So I was thinking of the episode in the hotel where she sits on the table and he ordered everything on the menu. But you're actually, being a Julia Roberts fan, I've realized you're talking about Runaway Bride with all the eggs. So good for me that I was able to follow that pop culture reference.
I know I geek out when somebody else comes on that can actually like quote random, like we'll just be in mid conversation. I'll be like, so Julia Roberts said, like, you get it. So anyway, I love it. And I want to have a moment with this topic as well, because, every now and then I still, after all this time, and it drives me crazy, see these memes go around on Facebook or whatever that says real self-care is, or real self-care isn't. And there'll be like this whole list. I just want self-care is whatever yourself needs. And I just want to say that the moments when self-care looks like a slice of chocolate cake, and the moments that self-care looks like me saying no because I really need time for myself, those are equal in my eyes, because it's exactly what I needed in the moment. So don't let anybody make you feel bad for choosing the bubble bath, or, something that they say isn't real self-care. It is real self-care. I just want to say that.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. 100%. That's all we have to say. I love it. All right. We're going to take a quick break and come back with birthdays, everybody. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
On April 4th, I was 90 years old, grandson of slaves. My parents were first generation free. A long time ago, I embraced the definition of love. Love is the experience of well-being. And a friend is one who mutually shares that experience of well-being with you, which opens up almost infinite creative possibilities.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. Please visit thefriendshipparadox.com and sign up for updates about the incredible documentary we have coming up on Friendsgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, November 29th, 2024, that Miss Trista was a part of as well.
So excited. So excited.
I get so misty every time I watch that damn thing, and I'm the one that put it together. I get misty over here. All right, so let's talk about birthdays today, because that's always a great reason to celebrate.
Happy birthday to you.
All right. So, in the world of celebrity, Neil Armstrong, who passed away in 2012, he had a birthday today. Actor Jesse Williams, 43 years old today. You might know him from Grey's Anatomy, and I think he was on one of the Law and Orders as well. Don't know which one. There's so many Law and Orders now, but anyway, I only watch SVU, so that's it. Because I gotta have a little Olivia Benson in my life. Okay,
sure.
Also, the celebrities in my life, Laura McPhee has a birthday, and then we have not one, not two, but three Breakthrough Network alumni have birthdays today. Joe Matz, Nico Patton, and also Harrison Tanner Barron. And one of those three I got to meet in person, and that was Harrison when I drove through the great state of North Carolina. We had dinner. It was amazing. So shout out to all of you guys that have birthdays today. Do you know anybody with birthdays today, Trista?
Yes, Elise Kime, my sister's sister, has a birthday today.
Nice. All right. Happy birthday, Elise. Now, and see, I'll remember that one because that's my cousin's name too.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. All right, everybody, let's do the birthday song. Here we go. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday, dear
Neil Armstrong, Jesse Williams, Laura McPhee, Joe Matz, Nico Patton, Harrison Tanner Barron, and Elise Kine. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. We're Muppets behind the scenes. It's so much fun. Yeah. Anything you have going on right now, Miss Trista, that you want to share with the world before we leave today?
I'm going to go take a nap, and I'm not going to apologize for it. How about that?
Yes. Yes. So amazing. So amazing. I love it. That's a great announcement. I would like to announce that when I leave here, we have virtual co-working today starting at 9:55 a.m. Eastern time. We start promptly at 10 after we check in. But I'm going to take my laptop and I'm going to get in bed with the heating pad during co-working and do my co-working there today. And I'm not going to feel bad about that either.
Damn. Yes, indeed. Love it.
We're winning at self-care here today. How are you winning at self-care today? Let us know in the comments before we go today. The rest of the week on the Breakthrough Show Network, we have craft circle happening. If you have a craft you want to do, come and join Miss Brittany tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. in our virtual community. You just go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club and you'll find lots of spaces. Come to the art studio for craft circle tonight. It'll be so much fun. Yes, Brittany's like, a nap sounds great. So we're all going to nap today as well. We're going to nap and then we're going to come back for craft circle at 6 o'clock.
Right.
I will be back for Project Joy this week on Wednesday. I will not be here Friday, but I will be here Wednesday. And we'll have some fun with that. And thank you so much, Trista, again, for being back with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I love you guys so much today. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day because you are the joy. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye. Oh, wait, how do the kids do it?
I forget now. I used to know.
Apparently,
that's right.
This is a mini heart. This is a mini heart. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
I've been trying, and I've been lifting myself up.